Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to create dynamic paths and load and combine multiple Excel files. So as you can see here, I have an Excel file here with sheet 1, and I have a folder path where I have 3 Excel files placed over there. So this is the folder path from where I am going to combine the Excel files. So what is the first step to do this? We'll have to load this into the Power Query editor, because when we are creating a dynamic path, we need to create a variable where that particular variable should have the path, this data, or that variable name. So what I do here is I create this in the form of a range. So I have the path here. If you go to the left hand side, I'll create a range here, that is range folder path, and I'll click on OK. So once I create a range, I'm good to add this to the Power Query. So what I do here is that on the left hand side, I will not be able to create on the left hand side here. So I'll have to go to get data, and I'll have to go to other sources, and I have to go to the blank query. Create a blank query through which you can be able to create a variable for the dynamic path. So my Power Query opens up, and you can see a blank query has been created with the source. So what I do here is that I give equal to, I create the M language here. You can see the formula FX option here. So I will create equal to Excel current workbook. So when I start typing excel.current workbook, I get this option here. Select this option and put a braces and click on enter. So when I click on enter, you can see here I've got a table, and I have, in this table, I've got the range which I already created. So this is how you can use the range into the Power Query editor. So once you do this, I want to get the value that is there in this range. This table has got 2 columns here, content column and the name column, name of the range and the content of the range. I want the content of the range. So what I do, I will click on the table here. So when I click on table, a set of applied steps will be taken care by the Power Query editor. So I don't want all these steps. So I will cancel these steps, and I will stop at the navigation step. So in the navigation step, you can see that there is the data which was in the folder path on the Excel sheet 1. That is this path which is reflecting here. So I need to have only this value and not this in the column 1 or column 2. I don't want this in a table structure. I want this as a variable value. So what I do is that I click on row 1 and I give right mouse click and I get drill down. Click on drill down and you will get only the value with the corresponding M language code which is generated here. So once I get the value of this variable, so this is what I wanted. So I will just go ahead and make the change. I will give folder path as my variable name. So now I'm good with this. So I go back to home and I go to close and load. I give close and load to, I don't want to add this to the workbook again. So I just create this as a connection. You can also add this to the workbook if you want to, similar to how you were adding the output table. So I will not also add this to the data model. So I will not click this. I'll just keep this as a connection and I'll click on OK. So now I got a variable called folder path. This variable I can use anywhere in any of my queries and get the value of this particular range. Okay, so let me double click this and go back to the Power Query editor. So my folder path variable looks good. I will not go ahead and change anything. So I go back to the Excel workbook. Now I'm going to combine those Excel files we have, which I am having in the combined folder. So I use the get data from file, from folder, and I navigate to the folder where I have my files saved, and I click on open. So once I do this, I've got the folder where in this folder, it shows a snapshot of my folder where I've got 3 Excel files, country data 1, 2, and 3, and all the details and all the characteristics and of these files, that is date access, date modified, etc., and also the folder path. And I have set of options here about how I can combine. I will choose the combine option here in combine and transform data. I'll click on the combine and transform data. So if you want to know more about these options, combine, load, and transform data, please go to my previous video where I have shown how to combine the Excel files and go through it once. So you will know exactly which is the right option to use for your requirement. So for this, I'm going to use combine and transform data. I'll click on combine and transform because after combining, I'm going to add some transformations, my own transformations to the file. So that is the reason I give combine and transform data. So I click on this, and Power Query meanwhile is doing some background transformations, and it is coming up with this window where it is asking me which file do I want it to be considered as a sample file. So my sample file will be the first file. By default, it shows up. So I'm okay with it. And I will leave it as it is. So why does it ask this is because when it is combining, it uses the schema from the first file, that is the structure of the first file, and it assumes that all my other files are also of the same structure, and it combines all the files together. So this is my first file as a sample file, and here I'll have to choose which table I want the data to be combined from. So I use data option, and here you have the data table which is shown, right? And do not click this option in case, you don't have to skip files with errors. So leave this as it is. So I just have a quick look at this table and it seems to be fine, and I click on OK. So when I do this, the Power Query is creating certain processing and it is applying certain transformations. I'll show you in the Power Query editor what transformations it has performed. So it is done the combining part now, and you can see the data which has come up. That is the combined table here. The combined table here has got all the tables combined together into one complete table, and I also have the folder path which is the variable here. So now I use this folder. So I go to combine, I give source, and you can see here my folder path is actually hard coded. So if I try to use the same path, and if I try to place my Excel files in the different folder and I try to run this query will not combine the files because this query will still be referring to this path. So I don't want this problem to happen. So what I do is that I give this folder path where any user can go and change the folder path on the Excel sheet there, right? So I select this and I delete this part and I give the variable folder path. Yes. Now when you do this, you can see that the folder path, it has taken the new folder path. That is the one which is coming from this variable, from the sheet one. So any folder path, if you are changing, please go ahead and change in sheet one. The same will be reflected in the folder path coming here in this variable. And you can go ahead and use that variable in the source section. One quick issue I also want to tell is that sometimes when you are combining folders with Excel files, the combine operation may not happen. So if there is some problem that is occurring during combining the files, what you need to do is, I will just take you through that. So always check for this option, go back to data, get data, and go back to your query option here. And once you click on the query option, you should be getting certain configurations here. Go to your security option or privacy option. Go to the privacy option and always check that this particular third option should be selected. Always ignore privacy level settings. So remember, this is very crucial for combining Excel files. So please make sure, if in case your settings are not to this, always ignore privacy level settings. So in the Power Query editor, the combining of the files or merging of the files will not happen as expected, and you might get a firewall error, right? So always see that this is selected, and also in the current workbook you can go for privacy and see that this option should also be selected, that is ignore the privacy levels and potentially improve the performance. So only if this is checked, you will not have any issues in combining your files, and your files will be combined with all the data. So now, so this is the combining and merging of all the 3 Excel files. So I don't want to load this into the Power Query editor. I just give close and load or close and load to, as shown earlier, and it just comes and shows up in the queries and connection. You can always go and select this queries through the mouse pointer, and you can have a quick look at how your data looks like, right? So this is about how to create folder path as a variable, and which is a dynamic path, and give the dynamic path during your merging and combining of your files. I hope you liked this video. Thanks for listening. Do wait for my next videos. Thank you.